I never believed in omens. Not until the night the shadow spoke my name. It started subtly, barely noticeable at first. A strange tension in the air each time I walked through my apartment, like someone had just left the room moments before I entered. The lights would flicker occasionally, but this building is old. Bad wiring wasn't unusual, but the feeling was always there. A pressure in the corners of the rooms. A constant sensation that something unseen was waiting, learning, watching. The first real sign happened on a Thursday night. I came home from work, dropped my keys on the counter, and froze. My living room window was open. I never leave it open. Never. The cold night breeze moved the curtains gently, but the air inside the room felt still heavy, like stepping into a place where someone had been holding their breath for too long. I walked over, shut the window, and tried to brush it off. Maybe I left it cracked, maybe. But when I turned around, I noticed something on the wooden floor. A footprint, bare, wet, and it was pointing toward my bedroom. My heart began racing, but the apartment was quiet. No footsteps, no breathing, nobody waiting in the dark. I checked the bathroom, the kitchen, the closets. Nothing. I slept with the lights on that night. Over the next few days, I tried to pretend nothing was wrong, but I started noticing a pattern. Every time I looked into a mirror, I felt the urge to look behind me. Every time I turned a corner, I sensed something stepping out of the frame just before I arrived. Every night, the apartment felt colder. And every morning, I woke up with this faint whisper echoing in my ears, like a word I should have understood but didn't. Then came the night that the whisper finally made sense. I was washing my face and leaned into the mirror. The apartment was silent. No cars outside, no neighbors. Just silence, thick enough to suffocate. And then, right behind me, soft, careful, almost curious, I heard it. Andre? I spun around. No one. Nothing. But the whisper, it hadn't come from the room behind me. It had come from the mirror. I leaned closer, watching my reflection. Something was off. My eyes didn't match my movements exactly. A tiny delay, barely noticeable, but there. And when I stepped back from the mirror, my reflection didn't step back right away. It lingered for a split second, almost like it was deciding whether to obey. I stumbled away, heart hammering, and left the bathroom light on. That night, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, counting heartbeats, until around 3:17 a.m., when I heard it again, whispering from the hallway footsteps. Slow, heavy, not mine. Something walked past my bedroom door. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and stepped into the hallway, empty. But at the far end, near the mirror in the living room, I saw movement, a silhouette, my silhouette. But it wasn't attached to me. It was standing on its own, facing me, frozen. Perfectly still. Its head tilted slowly, like it was trying to imitate human curiosity, but didn't fully understand it. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. And then it whispered again. My name. Andre. My own voice. Perfectly copied, but deeper, wrong. I ran back into my room, slammed the door, and locked it. I pressed my back against the wall and listened. The footsteps moved toward my door. Slow, deliberate, dragging. And then, nothing. Silence. Morning came eventually, and everything felt normal again, but in that too normal way that makes your skin crawl. The mirror reflected normally. The shadow was gone. The window was closed. No footprints. I convinced myself I imagined it. Stress, lack of sleep, who knows? But the thing about lies you tell yourself is that they fall apart, and the moment reality punches through 3 nights later, the shadow returned. This time, it didn't whisper my name. It spoke a sentence. You're leaving me behind. I froze. The voice wasn't coming from the bedroom. It was coming from under the bed. I dropped to my knees and lifted the blanket. Nothing but darkness. But the darkness beneath the bed wasn't normal. It was too dark, like looking into a pit. a void, and something inside that void shifted, not a small movement, a body turning, facing me. Two pale eyes opened in the blackness, eyes shaped exactly like mine. Then a hand reached out, my hand, identical, down to the veins. I threw myself back, scrambling across the floor as the thing crawled out from beneath the bed, like a broken version of me, limbs bending at angles no human joints should allow. It stood in front of me, its head tilted, neck cracking loudly as it straightened. "I watched," it said. "I learned." Its face twitched, trying to form expressions. My expressions, but wrong. Like a puppet learning how. Muscles work for the first time. "I know your name," it whispered. "I know your footsteps, your breath, your thoughts. I know how to move like you." It leaned closer, its mouth stretching too wide. "But you don't know how to move like me." I bolted out of the apartment, ran down the stairs barefoot, and didn't stop until I reached the street. I called the police. Told them someone broke in. They checked everything. No signs of forced entry. No footprints, no fingerprints, no intruder. My apartment was empty. Too empty. I stayed with a coworker for 3 days. When I finally gathered enough courage to return, I opened the door carefully, ready for anything. But the apartment was silent, normal, calm. I exhaled, relieved. Maybe it was over. Maybe. I stepped inside, closed the door, locked it, and then I froze. Across the room, standing perfectly still in the dim light, was me. Same clothes, same face, same expression. It raised its hand slowly and smiled. "Welcome home," it whispered. "I kept everything ready for you." That's when I realized something that made my blood run cold. It wasn't trying to imitate me anymore. It wasn't practicing my movements. It had been waiting for me to slip, waiting for the moment I let my guard down, waiting to take my place. And as it stepped forward, perfectly synchronized with my heartbeat, I understood one thing with absolute clarity. Whatever that shadow was, whatever it became, it knows me better than I know myself. And it isn't going to stop, not until there's only one of us left.